Okay, it would have been better if about 3 other videos had been made between my last one and this one, but I had my life on fire at the time because it was the build up to the ball, and I really didn't have a spare moment to make videos. I barely had enough time to sleep. So I'm going to give you a kind of tour of the finished costume. It's a little bit crunkled because it's been in the dress bag since the ball, which was a couple of days ago. And I danced in it a lot. So let me see if I can stand back a little bit. So here we go. There is the top, and I'll talk you through the different elements in a little bit. My very creased underskirt, and right down to the bit of frou-frou at the bottom, and meters of ruffling, and there is the sleeve. That's where the hand comes out. And here is the back. So you can see the sack back. So I'm going to start at the back actually to talk you through what I did, and maybe teach you something along the way, I don't know. So if you remember when I made this section, I made a tube and then pleated it at the top and attached it. But when I came to actually construct the entire dress, I thought actually I should integrate the back fully with the skirt. So when I did the skirt at the back, instead of joining the rear seam of the skirt, the two edges together, instead I joined it to the edges of the sack back. I just unpicked what I'd sewn up to about there. So they are it's all one piece now, and the effect of that was that when I was dancing and moving around a lot, I didn't have like a bit flapping around by itself that would have looked ridiculous. It all fit together, and I'm very pleased with how it turned out. So again, sorry it's creased. So the last time I filmed, there was no overdress in the lower half, and there was no overskirt. So the overskirt was very simple. I just pleated it on the dress form, pinned it all into place, and then tacked the pleats in place, and then marked where it met the line at the bottom of the bodice, flipped it over and stitched it in place. So it was all very, very straightforward. And then the frou-frou at the bottom down here was made with my amazing ruffler foot, which is very cool and saved me so much pain. So yes, the overskirt is very simple, and that's over the two massive pillows that made my fake pannier. And then with the rest of the dress, it was just a matter of inserting the sleeves, as you can see. And I'm really pleased with how these turned out, actually. They felt really great to wear. They're quite tight because the Georgian style was very tight on the upper arms. I don't know why. But I was really pleased with how they looked, and at the back you can see the different layers of the taffeta and all the frou-frou, and a little bow just to set it off. And then around the neckline I put in some white lace, and there were two reasons for this. One was so that it would cover up any kind of seams that you might be able to glimpse that came off my shoulder there, as I, or kind of just moved away from my shoulder as I moved, and also to replicate the lacy chemise that I should have been wearing underneath if I was a proper Georgian lady, which obviously I wasn't. So that replicated that. And then here is the amazing frou-frou frilly awesomeness. Now, I wanted to do a lot more embellishment on this gown, but some of the final stages of the construction, like the hem, took 10 times longer than I anticipated, and it was very upsetting. But I literally ran out of time. I was still sewing it at 11:30 the night before the ball, and I had to finish the stomacher in a cafe on the afternoon of the ball, in between running the workshops and then going and getting dressed and having the dance workshop and stuff. So yeah, I just didn't have time. I had planned to do all of the kind of the decorations down either side, and also across the bottom, but I may well be wearing this for another LARP, so if I do, then I will add the embellishments later. So I am now showing you the stomacher, and basically I took some of the frill and I made like a Celtic knot that was all one piece, and it wove in and out over each other, really kind of what I thought was quite clever. But it looked really messy. It didn't look like it did in my head because it had lace on both sides. It was basically exactly the same ruffle as this. It might have worked if I had it where the lace was only on one edge, but I didn't get a chance to make it until like 8:30 that night, and it was such a panic that I decided to make some circles of the fabric and just literally hand stitch them over the frills, so they're kind of like padded. They look padded. I wanted them to look kind of sumptuous, so they are literally just hand stitched over the top. If I go in close, you can see my hand stitching here. Literally all just hand stitched on, and then little bits of decoration just sewn onto the front because they did like their decoration. And underneath, well actually before I detach it, you can see that at the sides, I'm so thrilled, actually I'll go the other way because of the light from the window. I'm so thrilled that you cannot tell that this stomacher is held on with poppers at all. It worked! I was so pleased. So if you pull the frou-frou back, you can see the snap tape. That's why I was nervous. But it does its job. It hides everything. And underneath are the poppers that you saw before in the earlier videos. This has all been boned. You can see my boning channels there, and that's just me panicking like literally 2-3 hours before the ball, doing my hand stitching and tying it off there. That's why that looks a little bit messy. If I made it again, I would have made up the stomacher, because I've got a pattern now, so I can do it properly, where I would fully make up the stomacher, line it, then do the fitting with the snap tape and just hand stitch the snap tape. But this is the way I ended up having to make it. Top tip when you're sewing channels for boning is to always give yourself a couple of millimeters either side of your bone. Don't just make your channel exactly the same width, or like only 1 millimeter wider than your boning, because when you slide the boning in, because of the thickness of the bone, it actually takes up more width than you might anticipate. So you do need to give it, I usually give it an extra 2 to 3 millimeters, and then it can slide in really easily but not have any give in it whatsoever. And that is literally just the same construction as the bodice, where it's calico and drill, and stitching the calico and the drill together forms the channels. And that's just some facing, so it's all neat on the top and on the bottom, as you can see. And then underneath it's all hidden. So I'm really, really pleased with it. I've never made anything like this before. And so it was a real challenge, and it was one I actually enjoyed immensely. If I hadn't had like all of my life on fire trying to get the ball and the LARP and everything organised, as well as the gown, and if I'd had more time, it would have been even more enjoyable as an experience. But no, I'm really thrilled with it. And weirdly, it's really easy to dance in. It was really odd. I thought it would be really cumbersome. And you know, you need wide doorways. That's wrinkling just because it's on my dress form. It doesn't wrinkle when it's on me. But yeah, when you wear it, the pillows are very light. They're very comfortable. It's a really, really, really good way to wear it.